press the start stream button, Lewis. I'm waiting for the bits.
It's a dangerous button to push.
It always is.
Don't be afraid.
I think we should go ham on this one. Oh, I see the bits coming in. There they are, Lewis. And we're live. Oh, that didn't work. No, it just went. I messed it up. I went full Lewis. And everyone knows you never go full Lewis. All right, let's give it a minute here, Lewis, for people to pile on in.
You know what'll help?
Yeah. Oh, wait a second.
Send out the toot.
You want the toots? You really are a single-minded creature.
I mean, you switched to Mastodon like everybody, right?
Of course.
Right.
I'm hosting my own server. It's just me there, but
it's cool and awesome, right?
You know what I did, Lewis? I spent the money. I'm going blue, Lewis. I'm going blue.
Is that right?
Some might say I blew
You're too
myself.
good to work blue.
I'm waiting for verification this time. My name is Mario Nintendo. Just need them to verify me, and I'll be ready to tweet on behalf of Nintendo of America. I might try a Leander Kahaney and send tweets about Cult of Mac. Yeah, so now it's like a big process. If you go blue, you got to spend the $8 a month. If you don't do it through the Twitter app on YouTube or on that you get from the App Store, which you definitely should not do, because an app you're basically literally just giving that money to Apple for no reason. So if you go to the Twitter.com or the Twitter app outside of the App Store, you can subscribe, and it's only $8 a month. So, and then they have to verify you, which I don't know how they do it, because they didn't ask me for any information beyond just like my credit card number, and I haven't heard anything from them. So it's been like 3 or 4 days now. I'm sure they took my money right away.
But I mean, honestly, like that costs more than, for instance, subscribing to the New York Times, just to have a blue check mark on Twitter.
I'd say it's arguably more valuable too.
And 50% fewer ads or something.
I wouldn't say that the benefits are all that compelling. I mean, the blue check mark, I mean, I definitely think that has some value. The ability to edit tweets, I think, is definitely valuable to me. And also, I just want to support the platform. I like what Elon Musk is doing. I love that he's bringing free speech back to the platform and letting people just duke it out. So I'm like, okay, I'll toss him some money just to kind of give my support, and we'll see how long I do it. But you do get the check mark, and you do get editing tweets, and you also get the ability to upload longer length videos to Twitter, which I think could become a thing. Like, I could definitely see Twitter becoming more of a YouTube competitor. There's a lot of stuff he's going to do with it. I think there's going to be a lot of features that they add to it eventually, but that's not what we're here to talk about, Liz. No one wants to hear us talk about Twitter.
No, they want to hear us talk about Mastodon, because everybody's moving to Mastodon.
Oh yeah, they're moving in herds to Mastodon.
I don't know what a Mastodon sounds like.
I mean, that sounds like it could be close. It's like a woolly mammoth type thing.
It sounds like one. Yeah, that's more like it sounds like when they get stabbed. Big old spear.
Dude, Mastodon. It's just not going to happen, man. I mean, it's the reason that YouTube is so valuable. It's the reason that Twitter is so valuable. It's the reason that TikTok is so valuable. The company that creates the space first, it becomes effectively a monopoly. There are other competitors that could pop up, but they're very hard to dislodge, and moving your user base from Twitter to Mastodon is going to be extremely difficult, even for very famous people. I don't think that it's going to happen, except for like your most hardcore fans. So I think all the action is going to stay on Twitter, for better or for worse. We got Ulysses Martinez here. We got Streamline. We got Reese Grundy. We got Dan DeWitt. OK's the GOAT. Get the moderator in here. Get the moderator in here. Get this guy out of here. Get the steel-toed boot. I want it at least 67 inches up the keister. Get him out of here. We got Brian Malaki here. Oh, yeah. Mark LaPointe's joining us. I think we're ready to rock and roll. And I was telling Lewis before we started, I was like, generally we reserve December for doing like our best of. And I was like, not only did I completely forget, but there's just been so much Apple news that we haven't really had to fill in the gaps with other nonsense.
Shh, don't let on that's a filler.
I mean,
never explain how the
marquee
sausage
feature.
is made.
Our marquee feature Best of the
That's
month.
right.
No, I do actually like those segments, and we're gonna do them. But Lewis, we didn't decide. Are we gonna do a show next week? I'll leave it to you. Yay or nay?
Come on, let's do it.
You want to do it? Okay, let's do it.
What
Because
else
I
are
was
you
like,
gonna
it's
do
gonna
on
be
a
Christmas.
Thursday?
We could totally skip it. Yeah, but all right, let's do a show next week, and we'll continue on.
It doesn't have to be a good show. It doesn't even have to be a
okay,
long show.
As long as you don't hold me to that standard. Because if you're gonna hold me to that standard, we're definitely not doing it. So let's do a show next week. We'll have we'll do. I think we're gonna do a mishmash best of. So best of shows, best of movies, best of gadgets, whatever we want to talk about. We'll just do that stuff, and we'll start it because there's gonna be no news next week or the following week. And if you guys want to give me some suggestions, you know that I'm on the new Twitter, duking it out. I'm about to go blue. I actually kind of like the new gold badges, the blue badges, and then there's one other one.
Isn't it gray for government?
I think it is
What are the
gray,
gold
yeah.
ones? Are the gold ones like old school, like you actually earned your verification
Earned.
as opposed
Good
to
one.
paid for?
Oh no. Actually, I think it's genius opening up all the different verification types because I think everyone has to pay for them. And so if you're a company, like let's say Elon Musk came to your company and he's like, "Okay, Nintendo, you want to be verified on Twitter, you want to have the gold badge so that people can't impersonate you, it's $10,000 a month." They would pay it in a heartbeat. He could probably charge them $50,000 a month, and they would definitely pay it. I mean, $50,000 a month is a pittance for a big corporation, and to have them not be able to be mimicked by other people, and then to have everyone pay for blue badges just to verify that you are who you say you are, I think it's actually gonna make him a lot of money. We'll see though. Brian Batch says, "We don't need no stinking badges."
Exactly.
No, but we do need the edit button badly, and it pains
Just get
me.
it right the first time.
Yeah,
Come
well,
on.
Well, yeah. After seeing your notes in this page, I'm gonna
Fine.
I'm gonna put you on blast and say, not even you're doing that. Trying to clean up all these periods and
What?
askew commas, and you're using semicolons wrong.
Copied right out of the. Oh no, that's even more troubling.
All right, I am a little hoarse.
I'm a little pony.
So bear with
What
me
do you
here.
mean you're a little horse?
Doesn't it kind of sound like I'm a little bit hoarse?
Eh.
I got some post cold COVID side effects happening here. All right, Lewis, let's cue up Mrs. You Know Who.
Just prepare
And,
the tweet.
let's
That's
get
all
this
I
show-
can say. I don't think the tweets happened.
The tweet has been tweeted.
Has it?
Yes.
I didn't hear it.
Oh yeah, it's been tweeted.
There it is.
Here.
Okay.
How's that?
Nicely done.
Okay, let's cue up Mrs. D, and we'll get this thing rolling. Where is Mrs. D? Mrs. D. Oh, Mrs. D. Look at your shining skin. What's your secret, Mrs. D? Oh, I make a very special frosting that moisturizes the skin. Oh, yeah? Well, it looks nice. Makes your skin look nice and supple. Oh, yes, I also rub it all over El Katie's body and then lick it off. Ugh, gross. I didn't need to hear that part. I never need to hear that part. You can omit those parts in the future. If you don't mind, Mrs. D, let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. We got a lot of news to talk about. Well, maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration. We got some news to talk about. And if you don't mind, Mrs. D, I'd like to get this show rolling. In 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to Hookcast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Fairfront Elijah. Join me today. You're going to love his new line of NFT trading cards. These highly collectible cards feature the tech world's most aggressive editor in a variety of superhero costumes and scenes, including spraying writers with the fire hose, refilling the writing room trough, and my personal favorite, in a hero's pose while wearing a Superman outfit with a windswept cape. He's our own Man of Steel, Knuckles. Lewis Wallace is here.
What a great idea that is.
I think
You are
we all
a
need our own line of NFT
very
cards.
stable genius there. What I want is like laser eyes that obliterate typos.
Well,
And I not just want the little fake NFT. I actually want them.
So
I want implants.
you get some of those implants, so like you're like Cyclops.
Exactly.
So if you see too many typos, you just zap them. They're gone, and then they get Thanos, right? So they just disappear into a. Have you ever seen the movie The War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise?
Yeah, way back when.
Oh man, that's a great movie. I just rewatched it. They have those machines come up from the ground, and then they just start lasering people from the air, and they just go poof into a cloud of ash. I think that's an appropriate punishment for people who aren't dotting their lowercase i's and lowercase j's.
Here's what a comma splice will get you. Annihilation.
Don't you dare use that semicolon wrong. All right, let's see here. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. All sorts of stories. And let's see here. We're going to talk about the alternate app stores, alternate payment systems, opening up NFC on the iPhone, allowing sideloading. I mean, it's like all the stuff that we talked about that TC clearly heard on these shows and is enacting in the is going to be enacting in iOS. And this stuff is coming a lot sooner than you would guess it would be, because I think Apple's under the gun. We're going to talk about let's see here, all the best new stuff in iOS 16.2 that you got to try out, Lewis. Got to try out end-to-end encryption ASAP.
Yeah, just it's ripe for trial.
So we'll talk about that a little bit later. We got another giveaway, of course, and then I've got the ultimate Apple TV Plus get it for free hack. I did it again. It worked again, and I actually hesitate to even tell you guys about this because I'm sure it's going to ruin it for me. But I'll tell you how you can just get Apple TV Plus for free perpetually, at least until they figure out what we're doing. And when the tens of hundreds of thousands of you listening go try this out, it's going to ruin it for all of us, I'm sure. But you guys will at least get to get it working once. If you want to catch up on some Severance, one of the best shows of the year, you'll be able to do that for free, I think. Let's see here. Before we dive in, yeah, Lewis. We got a new sponsor today.
Whoa!
I know.
Welcome. We need like a fanfare or something, you know.
I should get some I should get some horns on the soundboard. Let me present you with a problem, Lewis. When was the last time you went into your bank account and looked to see what charges were actually happening from subscriptions that you have, like Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, all the subscriptions that we all apply for, and then we just forget about?
I'm afraid to look.
You know, I have been meaning to do this personally, just, go and scan it with my eyeballs forever, but who has the time, right? Well, I'm proud to say there is a really easy way to do this, and you could even cancel your subscriptions with a single click. Our new sponsor is Rocket Money. Rocket Money. Here we go. Yeah, it's an app on your phone. You open it up, and you load it up, and you can see all your subscriptions all in one place. The app shows all your subscriptions all in one place, and then you can cancel the subscriptions that you don't want. Rocket Money can find subscriptions you didn't even know you were paying for. You may have even been double charged for a subscription and never even knew about it. So you can find out if you've been double charged. You can find out about the subscriptions that you're paying for that you didn't even know that you had. To cancel a subscription, all you have to do is press the cancel button, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. I don't know how they do that, because normally you got to jump through a lot of hoops to cancel something.
Thanos style?
Yeah, they Thanos that subscription right there, and then get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now. Go to rocketmoney.com/cultcast. Seriously, it could save you hundreds of dollars per year. That's rocketmoney.com/cultcast. Cancel your unnecessary subscriptions right now at rocketmoney.com/cultcast. And it shows you all your subscriptions in the same in the same view, right? So at least you'll know what you're paying for, and you can ensure that you're paying for the things that you actually still use, which is important because everyone wants a subscription now, Lewis. Everyone is trying to get $5, $6, $7, $8 a month.
Yeah, and it's especially with streaming services, it's not that simple to figure out exactly what you're paying or to who, and
yeah, absolutely,
and whether or not you really want it. And sometimes it's a little bit surprising just exactly how much you're paying. Oh, really? So they jacked that up after my amazing free trial. Hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of people, or they just raise the price. I mean, that's the
Right.
other
Well, yeah,
thing.
that's what
Like,
I mean.
I was going through my I was going through some. I'm starting on my taxes stuff, right? And I was going
Ugh.
through. I know exactly.
Ugh.
I was going through all my expenses for the year, and I've had several places just raise the price. One of them raised the price. They jacked up. So I have a. I'm not going to put them on blast, although I was pissed. It was a web host, and for years and years and years and years and years, I've been paying like $18 a month for hosting. And I looked probably a couple months back, and they just decided to jack it up to $30 something per month. And I'm like, what? You went from 17 to over $30 per month. I'm like, are you guys nuts? If you want to raise it, you got to do it like a couple bucks at a time. You can't. And so I'm trying to cancel it, but of course, moving web hosts is like super labor intensive, and they know that, which is why they do it.
Sure.
So, but it's important to keep track of your subscriptions. Okay, let's see here. Let's kick it off with the big story of the week. This one was mind-blowing to me. I couldn't believe that this was actually being reported by the Germinator. Apple is apparently gearing up for alternate app stores on iPhone, iPad, iOS, but it goes way beyond that. So Apple has launched a major project to allow alternative app stores on iPhones and iPads by 2024. So right around the corner. The effort is meant to comply with the European Union's Digital Markets Act, coming fully into force by then, and other possible national or regional laws that make Apple allow sideloading, according to the Bloomberg report. Dude, Lewis, no one's been on this beat more than us. I have to say, like I've been talking about this for months, reporting as things progressed, and I'm excited about a lot of these features that may be opened up to us, but I'm also a little apprehensive because it does seem quite intrusive for this government to get so involved with Apple's business, to force them to open up iMessage to other competing apps and to tell Apple how they can run their business. So I'm of two minds of it, but let me keep going a little bit here. Bloomberg described the project's management this way. The changes underway within Apple are being led by Andreas Wendker, a longtime software engineering vice president who reports to Craig Federighi, the company's top software executive. Yeah, we all know that. Jeff Robin, Apple's top engineering manager for its services, who reports to head of services Eddie Q, is also involved. On schedule with the EU's timeline, Apple's goal may be is to make ready changes in time for them to appear in an update to 2023's iOS 17 release. Apple must comply with these new laws, or they could be fined 20% of global revenue. 20% of global revenue.
It's only $80 billion.
I know. That's a drop in the hat for them. I mean, the EU's probably hoping they pay it, right?
Yeah, they have plenty of things to squander that on.
Let's see here. According to Bloomberg, Apple is dedicating significant resources to complying before the EU deadline, meaning changes likely coming, yeah, I already said that, in 2023 in iOS 17. So let me just outline the changes that we could be seeing here real fast. Opening up the NFC on iPhone to other payment systems and also other NFC or other apps that would use your NFC chip. Opening up Find My to third parties like Tile. Like, that's a bizarre one to me, because I'm like, dude, why would you force them to use or force them to allow the use of Find My? That's a serious competitive advantage in so many ways. Allow for alternate app stores, allow for sideloading, allow alternate payment methods in the App Store, making communication apps compatible with one another, like FaceTime with other video, apps, or iMessage with other messaging apps, and then moving the iPhone and other devices to USB-C. So, I mean, it can't be overstated. One of the biggest changes to iOS since the introduction of iOS, massive crowbar going into iOS and breaking it open for everyone to start using it, making core functionality on the phone available to app developers and other stores. So essentially breaking Apple's monopoly on the App Store and apps. And it is a monopoly. I mean, you don't have to use an iPhone, but if you use an iPhone, you have to use their App Store. And I think the part that has always bugged me is I think Apple should be able to do whatever they want in their own App Store. But they should also allow other app stores for apps to exist that they don't want to allow. Like, if you buy an iPhone, you should be able to treat it like a Mac where you install whatever you want. Like, why does Apple get to decide what you install on your iPhone? People always talk about security issues, and I get that. But I think that Apple can make things secure and make your phone work just like your Mac, where if you want to keep things safe, you only install digitally signed apps, stuff from the App Store. And in those, if you proceed in those ways, it's easy to keep your phone secure. What are your thoughts here, Lewis?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of exciting. I mean, one of the one of the things I was reading about, I was like, well, Apple might just also say like, okay, well, if you want to distribute your app through, you know, Irfan's App Store, yeah, that's fine.
Stay
That's
tuned for
fine.
Irfan's App Store.
You know, we're just going to require you to pay $450 for us to, you know, check over the code and make sure it's secure and everything. And so, you know, eventually it's like, is it worth it? Or is it better to just be in the App Store because that's where all the action is?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the devil's going to be in the details and how well this works and how many people take advantage of this stuff, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you know, I'm just guessing vast majority of people will never, ever take advantage of you know, side loading an app. I mean, although, like, if Apple got gets weird and like, so, well, we're kicking this app out because you know, we don't like their worldview or their politics, for instance, and then maybe it becomes, oh, maybe people, you know, would react to that and go out and seek something out if there's another like let's just say they decided that, you know, they don't want Twitter in there anymore, and suddenly people are like, oh, well, I want it, so I'm going to get it. I mean, but like, how does a small app maker catch fire, right? If they're only in some little thing. Although, who knows? I mean, maybe there can become
Ingenuity?
like writing an excellent app.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's possible, but I bet you most people are just going to do it the easy way because, I mean, Apple's point about you don't want your iPhone compromised is pretty accurate. You don't want it compromised. You got everything on there. You got your, you know, everything.
But you got all that stuff on your Mac too.
Yeah, I don't have all my health data on my app. I don't have all my.
Doesn't that stuff show up in the health app?
I guess I do have my banking stuff in my app.
You can also load any app that if you have an M1 Mac, you can load any app from the App Store on your Mac too.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I think the play is money, obviously. Like, security, probably second place. But but the thing is to your point, I think that's exactly how this will pan out, is most people will just use the Mac App Store or the App Store because they're not going to be interested in other app stores. But there will be a faction of people who are like, I want to use apps that Apple doesn't allow. There's going to be all sorts of like super creative apps doing things on the phone that Apple probably wouldn't currently permit, and creating lots of creative apps that are going to do cool stuff, and it will be at your own risk to use those things. And I guess for me, the thing that I was surprised by was the overwhelming like negative reaction to hearing this news. A lot of people are like, we're not happy that Apple is going to allow this, but I'm like, you don't have to participate in this if you don't want to. Right. It's just going to give you another option. Like, if you want to go install another app from another app store, you can, but you don't have to. You can just use the Apple App Store. That's the thing. Like, I don't think that anyone should be telling Apple how to run their own app store. It's theirs. They should be able to do whatever they want. But we should have alternatives so that if Apple wants to kick out Twitter, or they don't want to allow some kind of functionality in their app store, they don't have to. But then you have the option to install those apps from other places. And my argument has always been, apps have taken over the internet. In fact, I saw Elon Musk make this exact same argument on Twitter, and I was like, oh, he must be shadow following me. So he's following me. He doesn't show in the app, right?
So who exactly did you see was upset about this? I mean, because I haven't seen any of that. And I'm just wondering what their perspective is. Is it that the whole Apple ecosystem is going to become crappy somehow, or something?
Less secure. People were comparing it to like the Google Play Store being full of garbage. And I'm like, that's the point. Apple can run their own app store however they want, and it will probably remain exactly the same. But they're going to have to open it up to other app stores. So if other developers from other app stores want to use core functionality on the phone, they can do that, and those apps would be available on other stores, which to me seems like a good thing. It may be slightly unsafe, but Apple has a lot of smart people working there. I'm sure they can figure out how to do this and make it safe. I'm sure they can. It may not be quite as buttoned up as the App Store is or quite as secure. But again, most people are not ever going to use an alternate App Store. They're only going to use the thing that Apple promotes, the thing that is official Apple. You know, it's like it's like parts for your car, man. You can buy OEM parts, and there's some people who only ever use OEM parts because they want to get that warm, fuzzy feeling that they're getting the manufacturer's part, the manufacturer's specifications. And then there's aftermarket parts. They're cheaper. Like, I'm pretty sure this is going to work.
It might work.
It might work.
It might work.
It might only work for a year, but I'll give it a shot because it's like 1/3 the price. You know, it just reminds me of my old BMW. So my old BMW, man, what a POS that thing was. Everyone warned me. I knew what I was getting myself into, but that car was just it was just one problem after another. And I remember one day my key stopped working, and the battery, the rechargeable battery, had reached the end of its life. And I discovered that you can't replace it. You have to go to a dealership and get a brand new key, which costs like $300 because they have to program it for you.
Oh, heavens.
And your car is only allowed to have like some ridiculous low number of keys ever in its lifetime. And so you have like this limit of keys that you can get. It was kind of high, I guess. It was like 10. I guess why would you need more than 10 keys? But still, it's a strange limitation. I'm like, that's Apple, man. They're making you buy the $300 keys because you can't get the key anywhere else. And I kind of like the open approach better, where you can just replace the battery or get an aftermarket key or something. I think that is better for consumers. Now, the one thing I did want to mention is, if you're excited about these new developments, they may only be available in the EU. We're actually not sure exactly how this is going to play out yet, because these laws that Apple is trying to comply with. Thank you. They're EU laws. So it is possible that these changes are only going to apply in the EU. I doubt that. Apple forking its code base and managing two different code bases now, one for Europe and one for the US, I don't think it's going to happen. Plus, there's legislation in the process for the US that are going to require a lot of these same things. I think Apple has finally got the message. I mean, the writing's been on the wall forever. Now there are new laws coming out. People want them to be more open. They had a great run on this monopoly for a long time, and it's just not happening anymore. So, but the thing is I saw someone make this point, which I thought was a really smart point. If Apple is this focused on complying with the new law, how much time are they going to have to building out new innovative features for iOS 17? Because they're going to be focused on all this compliance stuff and fixing or opening up their app stores in secure ways to allow for alternate stores, alternate payments, all this other stuff that the EU wants. When are they going to have time to actually do feature work and make it cooler?
That was one of the things in Bloomberg's article. He was saying that this is a pretty unpopular development inside Apple. Like, people are really not very pleased that they have to do this, and you can imagine, right? Like, they basically have to retrofit a bunch of things. It sounds what it sounds like, and figure out ways to make things work. And the only, I mean, I guess maybe that's who you were seeing who's upset with this thing, right? Is that were they Apple workers who were upset about it? People are actually going to have to implement these things, or was it?
I just saw people on Twitter.
Saying, like,
I imagine mostly developers and I don't know, Apple fans, but I saw a lot of people complaining on it in the I think it might have been Mark Gurman's thread on Twitter. Let me see. Maybe I have this pulled up here.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah. Look at me. I think this was it. Gurman goes on to say, if similar laws are passed in other countries, Apple project could lay the groundwork for other regions. Oh, but the changes are designed initially to just go into effect into Europe. Yeah, I don't think that's going to stick. Changes would also come to NFC and camera access. So here's one. As a developer, this is Sebastian DeWith. As a developer, blue check. He's paying the $8. Just honestly sucks. It's not going to make things better for us, just more complicated. And just same goes for consumers. Side loading sounds fine, but this sounds awful. I'm like, what? What? It honestly just sucks. Sucks for who? It's going to make things worse and more complicated for consumers? No, it's not. Literally, if you were an Apple consumer that didn't follow any of this stuff, you would have zero idea that any of this was happening. You would just go about your normal life. The only people that this changes anything for are the people who know about it and want to actually go use alternate app stores, which is not most people.
Well, I mean, what if it, for instance, overly complicates the way Apple's systems work? What if making all these changes makes it way more difficult for developers to implement something? I mean, that I could imagine you might say, "Wow, this everything here works great, and I like the way it works, and I don't want to have to jump through a bunch of hoops to change things." I mean, maybe I don't actually have any idea how they're going to implement this. I mean,
I
it
don't
wasn't
know.
gone into,
I
but
mean, if they're going to be updating their APIs and
opening
opening up
APIs,
their
right?
APIs, I don't see a scenario which Apple does anything that will force any iOS developers currently to do anything different in their apps. They're going to just open up new API calls to external developers or give external developers access to their current API calls. I don't think that if you have an app out or like already on the market, you're going to have to change it at all because Apple wouldn't do that. They're going to figure out how to make this work with people who they're trying to bring in. Somebody was saying they think they're going to try and gimp this effort like Apple will. Yeah, this guy, Max Ravensky. I'm calling it right now. Apple will go out of their way to make side-loaded apps unusable. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, too. They're going to comply, I think. My opinion is the same as Max. They're going to comply in the least compliance way possible, right? They're going to give you what you need. It's not going to be like them opening up everything. I think the EU laws call Apple to open up core functionality. Core functionality. What does that even mean? So it doesn't seem like Apple's going to just say, well, guys, so I guess we got to just open up everything to everyone and make it usable and user-friendly. And I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to do the bare minimum because they want to maintain their position with their App Store. Somebody in the comments, sorry, I forgot who it was saying, like, take a look at the Mac App Store and how dead it is. I think that could be the future for the iPhone App Store, too, if Apple's not careful. But I think they're going to approach this very carefully. But a year development cycle for all of these new features, that is not long enough. Like, I don't know what the actual deadline is from the EU, but, like, this should have been, like, 2 or 3 years. I mean, the fact that they're forcing Apple to make all these changes have to be very carefully considered. And there's a lot of security concerns that probably need to be rethought. And then you have to actually go code it and test it. And to do all of that in a year, that is an extremely tight deadline, in my humble opinion. So there you go, folks.
All that in USB-C too.
Yeah, and they got to add USB-C. And the other thing I was going to mention here is, let's see here. I thought this was another big one. This is just crazy. I can't even believe that we're talking about this. Apple considering dropping the requirement for iPhone web browsers to use WebKit. So I'm sure most of the people listening to this know that people who develop browsers on iOS have to use WebKit, which is why all the browsers feel and kind of function the same. Like Chrome isn't really Chrome on the iPhone. And Apple is considering dropping this requirement too. Gurman said this is, again, in response to the EU's Digital Markets Act. Let's see here. Quotes. Currently, third-party web browsers, including ones like Chrome from Alphabet, are using WebKit, Apple's Safari browsing engine. Under the new law, Apple is considering removing that mandate. Well, that didn't really help us out very much now, did it? So you could have like an actual Firefox on your phone if they do this, or an actual Chrome.
Actual Firefox.
Or actual Microsoft Edge. Finally, you can have the Edge.
Whoa, baby. No way.
I just think it's crazy, man. I would love them to open up access to the NFC on the phone, too, because there's all sorts of cool stuff that you can do with NFC that you can't do on the iPhone. Like, namely, one of my favorite functions for NFC that unfortunately doesn't work on iPhone is writing to NFC tags so you can store your Nintendo amiibo on your phone and then scan them in-game without having to go get your amiibo characters. And you can buy readers right now that do this, but they're kind of like a pain to use. I own one. It sucks, actually. And there's an app that you can use that lets you write to NFC tags on Android, and you can just store all your amiibo there, rewrite them, power them up, like tinker with them and stuff. And you can't do that with iOS because Apple doesn't allow developers access to the NFC functionality in the iPhone, which kind of sucks. So this will be a story that we have to follow. Massive breaking story this week. My mind was blown. I don't know where this is headed. I don't know what Apple's going to do, but the fact that they're even considering this is truly amazing. I never thought we'd see the day, especially not everything. Like I've talked about this stuff in the past, and I thought maybe they would open up in some limited capacity, but not everything. Like sideloading and alternate payments and NFC access, like literally the entire list that I enumerated in 5 or 10 different shows in the past. It's all that stuff that Apple's considering, which is pretty incredible. Let's just hope it doesn't gimp iOS 17, because that's a distinct possibility. Let's see here. Yes, Lewis.
It'll be like an iPhone situation, exact same operating system.
What?
Next year's iOS is the same as this year's iOS. iOS 16
part 2. Yeah, 16S, exactly. I mean, that honestly, that is a legitimate concern, because Apple has limited development resources, and then they have to go through their entire code base and update everything to comply with this law. I mean, they're probably already scrambling to get out new features, and now they have to bolt on all this other stuff in some kind of like well thought out way that's secure. That could seriously limit the amount of features that go into iOS 17. Lewis, let's see here. Before we continue, let me give a quick thanks to Squarespace for supporting this episode. Squarespace. If you want something that isn't convoluted and hard to understand and is secure, squarespace.com/cultcast. I use Squarespace to host my cultcloth.co domain, and it's just terrific. Outstanding. I say that with all sincerity. Like, it's so easy to build. You can have a website up in moments. You'll be able to accept payments. You'll be able to sell products and services of all kinds. You can sell digital products, physical products, you name it. There's all these hooks that you can access to integrate apps that help you run your business, like money stuff, shipping stuff. And I use a lot of those to kind of just help Cloth just operate on its own. So I just kick back and collect the checks. That's all I do. And so many, they just keep coming in, Lewis. All these checks just keep coming in, huh?
That's great news.
You like that?
I love it. A perpetual money machine. That's fantastic.
It's the mythical passive income, Lewis.
Not only that, think about all the clean screens out there.
Oh yeah, not just screens, Lewis. Glasses.
So much glittering and gleaming.
Oh, sparkling. Glasses.
I love it.
MacBook Pros, you name it. But it's not about my terrific product. Squarespace makes it possible. And if you're ready to finally get that website going, maybe you want an online store, you want to promote your local business, maybe you just want to feature your portfolio of photography or artwork, start a blog. If you want to promote your services to people, you can start a membership website or have people book time on your calendar, or just feature your resume to potential employers. You can do all that stuff with Squarespace, and it's super super easy to get up, and it just runs itself. You can bring collaborators to help you build stuff if you want. It's all drag and drop. It's like the Apple of website building. It really is the new iLife. You know, like how easy iLife was, but Squarespace is even easier to use than that, and they have a keen design aesthetic, so your website will look beautiful to anyone that visits. Head over to squarespace.com/cultcast to get started. If you like your website after your trial, use code CULTCAST at checkout. You'll save 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace.com/cultcast. All right, Lewis, should we talk about iOS 16.2?
Yeah, sure. Let's just run through some of the new features maybe people haven't tried. You know, our big post this week was 10 new iOS 16.2 features to try right away. We might have get out over our skis a little bit on that one.
I'm going to try encryption right away. How do I begin trying that, Lewis?
Definitely try the iCloud backup and encryption.
Is there anything that you have to do to switch that on, or does it just automatically work?
You have to switch it on because it's you're making a decision there. You're saying, I'm not going to forget this password, because if you flip it on and lose your password or something,
it's gone.
Yeah, you're done.
If
Apple
you don't have
can't
a
help
trusted
you.
device,
Nobody can help you.
Yeah, I think that's important to emphasize too, because people don't realize that they're really serious about that. Like, if you lose access to your backup, it's done. It's just a jumbled mess of data at that point that Apple can do nothing to access.
It is, it is a good thing though that they're making this available. You can now put some of this stuff behind. You can uh, what did they add? They added iCloud Drive and Photos. I can't even remember now exactly. There's like a handful of things now that they now have made end to end encrypted. So yeah, turn it on if you dare.
I'm looking at it right now to see if I can turn it on.
It's I also felt a little bit like a hypocrite because he said our headline is try these immediately, right? And I still haven't gotten a chance to try this other one, which is one of the more fun sounding features, Apple Music Sing. Have you given this a try yet?
I haven't tried that one.
It's
high on my list, believe me.
I want to see how good it is. So what it does is it basically turns your iPhone or your iPad, and I think it also works on Apple TV, turns it into a karaoke machine. So you can just sing along to those lyrics. I want to see how good it is at suppressing the vocal tracks. Haven't done it yet. I feel like
I don't use Apple Music, so I don't know if that's one that I'll be able to try. But let me just show this real fast, Lewis. I found it. It's in the.
Does it have a big scary warning button on it?
If you go, no, actually, it doesn't. If you go into iCloud, yeah, there we go. So if you just go into settings and then tap on, let's see here, where did I go? Oh, yeah, I guess backup.
Advanced data protection on or off?
Oh no, that's not it. It's your iCloud settings.
Turn on advanced data protection.
There it is. I'm gonna show it right here.
Oh my!
See if
Can't see a thing. It's all white.
I guess it's too bright, isn't it?
It's just too bright and shiny, man. You shouldn't have cleaned it with the cold. There you go.
There we go. There we go. There it is.
Yeah, you press that thing
switch.
and oh boy. Yeah, you can just it does have a big fat warning on there because Apple will not have the keys required to recover your data. You'll be guided through verification of your recovery methods in case you ever lose access.
Okay, so you could set up account recovery.
Yeah, so it's not that bad. Anyway.
All right, I might have to do that.
Yeah, why not? See,
after the show, I'm gonna hit the switch.
Just try not to lose access to everything you know and love.
See, for my library though, I'm like, there's nothing in there that I really feel that protective of. It's like my family photos and stuff. So I'm like, is it worth the risk? But maybe I would turn it on after I added all my photos to my shared library with my wife. So we started sharing photos together in our shared library, which is just a really terrific feature. And there's all these like smart ways that iOS knows if you should share a feature in that library or if it should just remain in your own library. But then you have to figure out what you want to do with your backlog of photos. And it can go through and like figure out, oh, people with these faces should be shared. And there's all these things that you can do to figure out what photos you want to share in the shared library. Because like my wife doesn't want to see all my photos, right? I mean, there's things I take photos of all the time that are just for me referencing something. Like I'll take a picture of a receipt, right?
Right.
And it's like, does she want to see that? No, I don't think so.
Probably not.
But all the ones
actually,
who
knows? She might actually want to check up on you.
I don't want her to see the receipts, especially now that new Sony A95K OLED I just bought.
Encrypt it, baby.
That one's going in the encrypted folder. Sorry, Lewis. Go ahead. Let's cruise through these real fast. How long have we been going?
I don't know, a day and a half. Let's see. Apple Music Sing, as we were saying, turns karaoke. Freeform, which actually that was one of the things that a bunch of these things got showcased at WWDC this year. Yep. Freeform was one of the ones they showed off, and
I did play with that. Did
you? Now,
yep.
Is it good even for people who can't draw?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, there is definitely a learning curve for Freeform, I have to say. I need to play around with it more because there's a lot of stuff that you can do with it, and I don't quite understand the UX, the user experience at this point, but I do like the idea of Freeform, and it is really, especially if you have an Apple Pencil, it's really fun just kind of like write in there, and you can add pictures and stuff and kind of present your thoughts in a more artful form than having like a to-do list with like a bunch of bullet points.
Maybe we should do our show notes on that next week.
Oh, God.
Sounds like a train wreck.
Next story is, what does this say, Lewis?
Picture of something.
I mean, the one thing I don't like is like importing pictures is not as easy as you could import on a Mac because there's no easy way to take like really fast screenshots of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it wants to pull stuff in for your photo library. And I'm like, I'm not trying to pull photos in for my photo library. Usually when I want to add something to Freeform, it's something that exists on the web. But there's no easy, quick way that I've found to like grab a quick snapshot and put it into Freeform, which is what I need.
Surely there's a way.
I don't know, and don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, I haven't tried that one out either. I mean, I really feel like a hypocrite now. Let's see, always on display customization. So this is for iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max owners. You can tweak that always on display the way it looks. A lot of people have said that's great. Here's one of my favorite ones that we really need to try is the AirDrop restriction. I'm not sure you can try that.
Oh yeah.
What that does is it limits how long AirDrop files stay available to people who aren't on your contact list, right? So now I think it's a hard limit of like 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Yeah. I heard that feature was specifically requested by Xi Jinping.
Yeah. And, I mean, some people use AirDrop for nefarious purposes. You've heard about the amazing people sharing pornographic photos and things on airplanes, and just everybody's sitting there waiting to get off the tarmac, and they're all downloading the same thing, and you hear a giant collective, ooh, so maybe you don't want that sitting hanging out there forever.
Okay, so I can see a use case where Apple doesn't want your phone to be spammed by images and all sorts of other stuff. That you may
to
not
be clear,
want.
you have to accept that. You have to click to have it happen. But But
I bet you most people would. They'd be like, there's, because they wouldn't even know what AirDrop is. They'd be like,
well,
there's something trying to be transferred to me. Okay, what
and
is
not
this?
only that, but I mean, how many times have you gone to tap something on your phone and something pops up and you can't stop, right? It just, I did not mean it.
Yeah.
and then followed by the ooh. Anyway, let's see.
Ooh.
We've also got new lock screen widgets, which is awesome. You can now put your medications and your sleep stuff in there. Whatever. Maybe maybe that's really helpful for you. I haven't tried it. I'm starting to notice a theme with my own lack of embracing these features.
Why.
It's pretty sad.
I've noticed you haven't been taking your meds. I explain why.
Sports scores and live activities. This gets pulled into the iPhone lock screen or the dynamic island from Apple News, I believe. Oh no, that's from Apple TV, which is kind of weird. Share Play support in Game Center. Have you tried that?
Game Center still a thing?
I don't use it, so no. Weather app adds news stories. I have not actually seen this yet either.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying to see if there's any news stories in my weather app.
They were saying that this is really like dependent upon, where you live. It's not in all areas, and it for sure is not going to be happening. Like if there's no news, if there's no weather news, right? Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it's weather specific news. I think that was the piece that I wasn't clear on. It's like, it's not like they're going to show you ads from other stuff or stories from Apple News that have nothing to do with weather. It's like, no, you're looking at the weather app. It's like, there's a hurricane incoming and you're in Orlando. That would have been helpful.
I don't even actually see any. Maybe I hope they actually rolled it out. Anyway, updated home app architecture. I think this is adding Matter support, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't even know how you try that out. I mean, that just makes it work better if you have the right devices. So,
you need a device that supports Matter.
I believe so. This is nice. 5G support in India. I have not been able to try that personally.
Well, we're gonna need you to fly to India on your own dime, of course.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And give this a shot. Do a speed test and then come home.
I want to see if the 4G is any faster than the 5G we have over here. Because
I bet you the 4G in India is faster than the 5G in San Francisco.
5G ultra wideband from Verizon, which I pay so much money for every month, is pathetic. Two to four down, great.
I've seen your download speeds. They're nothing to brag about.
I mean,
maybe try going to Bangalore.
Every time I see that, I think back to that great keynote where Tim Cook, what was it, the iPhone 12 that they pinned 5G on, like how amazing it was. It was like the marquee feature, and it's like,
and he was so squinty. I really thought he meant it.
And I mean, I don't know, man. It's been quite a while since that has happened. And I have not noticed anything being better, faster, anything.
Yeah, me either.
I have not seen the revolution they were talking about.
No. though.
They were talking about like, oh, you're going to be driving in your car and it's going to enable all this stuff to happen so fast. It's going to, download a movie in 10 seconds. And what a disappointment.
And there's like a few cities where they have like 5G networks built out. And if you stand right next to the tower, you can get basically gigabit speeds. But other than the few YouTube videos I saw where people are testing that kind of thing out, it doesn't seem to actually exist. It seems like vaporware.
Yeah, jeez.
All right, I think that's all of
Yeah,
them, isn't it?
well, yeah, that's the end of that list there. I don't have that much to say about this because I haven't tried this either, but we were going to talk about the big new feature in iPadOS. We have a post about this written by a guy who actually has used it and can explain to you why it's great. So the big new feature in iPadOS 16.2 is full external display support. And if you got the right iPad, you can use like add a 27-inch screen to your iPad, right? And you can have 8 applications open simultaneously on certain iPads. Not every one, right? They have to be.
Oh yeah. What's the oldest iPad you can use?
I think it just has to have a M1 chip.
Oh, it's gonna have M1, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna try this on my 2018 iPad Pro, but
sorry, buddy,
not gonna work for me. I don't think.
Let me just double check that here.
I do have the Apple Studio display though, just like this picture.
Yeah, only available for tablets running an M1 or M2 processor.
Bah!
Sorry, Charlie.
I'm not upgrading just for that.
Yeah, not
to
worth.
Try to pretend that my iPad is a Mac.
Yeah, and use Stage Manager, which I still haven't even tried that either.
I turned it on, man. I don't know. It's just I don't really find it to be that compelling, to be honest with you.
I really should have my iPad revoked. I don't use it for anything very good. I'm just kind of whatever the opposite of a power user is, that's what I am. I'm a guy who watches some videos on my iPad once in a while, and then really the only thing I use it for is scoring on darts. That's just about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say mine's getting a lot of heavy lifting either, which is why it cracks me up. They keep adding like these more and more and more powerful chips to the iPad because there are no apps that can really stress even like a 2018 iPad.
I mean, they're getting there though. I mean, these like Ed, the guy who wrote our article, he only uses an iPad. That's all he uses for everything, and it's really capable. And I mean, it would require like a whole different approach to everything, right? I mean, I'm more I use my iPad to consume content.
Me too.
I'm not a creator. I wish I was. I'm embarrassed to admit it. I'm not.
Create this podcast. That's something.
Yeah, I created quite a scene at the Costco the other day. That's not true, actually. Let's see.
All right. Yep.
That's all I got, man.
I was gonna say I think that covers that story in full.
Yeah. Let's see.
So let's
some
let's move.
weird timing here. We've kind of screwed up the back and forth nature of the show. Now am I going to talk about the giveaway now? You want to talk about something else first?
No, why don't you do the giveaway?
This is a pretty.
And then we can wrap up with this how to get Apple TV Plus for free perpetually until they fix this loophole.
Okay. All right. So
which will happen within a week or two after we do this story, I'm sure.
This is a pretty fantastic giveaway we got this week. I like to call it winner's choice. We got 5 people going to win any product from mophie. Anything.
Oh, shoot. That's nice.
That's an awesome giveaway.
And mophie makes great products, of course.
Yeah, they've got all kinds of stuff. You can get this stuff in the Apple Store where you can pay, $75, $85, $125. Or you can go to cultofmac.com, scroll down to the giveaway. The giveaway that it's a giveaway is that it says Cult of Mac giveaway.
Wait, let me think about that for a sec. Yep, I'm following you.
This week you're going to look for the headline that says winner's choice, enter to win any mophie product. I think that's very straightforward, very accurate. 5 people get a chance. We've got a few of the things laid out that they have in there, in the post, some of the highlight stuff they have. But they have some really great things. I love the look of that little 3-in-1 travel charger that they have.
Yeah, I do too.
That thing, it folds up. It's kind of like the what was it, MagSafe Duo that Apple sells, but it folds. It does 3 things.
Nice.
And it does deliver full speed. The 15 watts for the wireless, as opposed to a lot of the inferior chargers are not quite that good. They've also got some charging mats. They've got a power bank that has some cool, all kinds of things. Like basically everything you need for your Apple gear they have, and you can pick whatever you want. and get it from Zag. Zag owns Mophie. Zag is like the
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, I knew that, but they bought them I think in 2016.
Okay.
Zag has quite an umbrella of brands that they own. So anyway, that's the giveaway. I think this runs for a week. 5 winners. Go in there, enter, sign. All you got to do is sign up for our amazing free daily newsletter or our podcast, which you're listening to right now. There's other ways you can enter. Get your entries in. Good luck. I wish I could enter. I really do, because I love this gear.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in here. I posted the link to the giveaway in the chat. I'll put it in the show notes as well. You can also just go to cultamac.com and scroll down, and you'll see it. As Lewis said, the giveaway is the text Cultamac giveaways. You can't miss it. Click on that, boom, and you're 98% of the way there to getting something for free. The other 2%, it's just gonna be luck, but you got a chance. You got a chance. That's all I'm saying. So okay, cool. Thanks for that, Lewis. Let's see here. Let me talk about something that you don't need to take a chance on. It's a sure thing. 60% of the time, it works every time, Lewis.
Wow, that's great.
Think about that. So if you all recall, a while back, I told you about one of the only ways, I think literally the only way, of getting Apple TV Plus for free as a returning subscriber. So there's a lot of new offers out there. In fact, Lewis, why don't you talk about yours first?
Really?
We'll tell everyone, about your offer, and then I'm gonna swoop in and come in with my offer, which is even better than your offer. But you got some options here.
Yeah. So this is the legit way to get 2 free months of Apple TV
My
Plus.
way is 100% legit.
I
100%, although I don't know how long it will be legit after we do this segment, but yeah.
This one is no loophole required. This is all because Emancipation is now streaming on Apple TV Plus. Maybe you heard about it. This is the movie with Will Smith. It's like it's loosely based on a true story of this slave who escaped to freedom and became like there's a famous photograph of him, all the abuse that he took, and it became a real I don't know, like a pivotal moment from what I understand in sort of society's like revulsion at how bad slavery is. Anyway, This is like an action epic show. Our reviewer, I was surprised. I thought our reviewer was going to hate it, but he thought it was pretty good. And my wife was even talking about it. She's like, "Oh, Emancipation! I heard that's really good." And I'm like, "What? Really? Okay." We haven't watched it yet. It's 2.5 hours or 2 hours 12 minutes. Quite a commitment. I don't know if I got time for that, but maybe this weekend I'll watch it. Anyway, so because that movie is on Apple TV Plus, and Will Smith has been doing like an apology tour everywhere, trying to get people to like him after the slap. Will Smith goes on Instagram and he says, "I've been reading a lot of the comments. I see a lot of people saying they don't have Apple TV Plus. That's unacceptable to me. So I went to Apple and I was like, yo, we got the film, but people need to have Apple TV Plus. So I got 2 months free of Apple TV Plus for everybody to watch Emancipation." Just to be clear, it does not take 2 full months to watch Emancipation. As I mentioned earlier, 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Okay.
To claim the offer, all you do is go to apple.co/willgift, WILL.
Apple.com, right?
I believe it's apple.co. I don't think that's a typo.
Oh, you're right. Apple.co. That's interesting.
And you go there, you get 2 free months of Apple TV Plus, except 2 months free. This expires on January 14, so don't put it off too long. And this is for new and qualified returning subscribers only. I'm not exactly sure what a qualified
I don't know what that
returning
means either.
subscriber is, but I would say this is a good time to check out Apple TV Plus. There's plenty of good shows on there right now, as we keep talking about. They just keep adding good stuff. And the first thing you should do is go watch Severance, because that
I was gonna say, there's nothing else that you do. Go watch Severance. Yeah,
I mean,
it's worth doing the trial just for that.
Yeah. And all you gotta do is quit if you don't like it, if there's not enough stuff on there. But I mean, honestly, there's so much good stuff these days. There's a new season of Slow Horses, which is another great show. I don't know if you've ever watched that. Yeah, that's the thing. There's so much content available everywhere. How can anybody keep on top of anything? It's impossible. But they just keep adding more stuff to their library. Just keeps getting better. there's a ton of stuff. I mean, 2 months you could watch a lot of great stuff. So including Emancipation
and see. Yeah, so this is a great thing to try if you want to get yourself some free months of Apple TV. And actually, you can do this one and you can do the one that I'm about to show you as well. So if you'll recall, a while back, I was commenting on how there was no way to get Apple TV Plus for free if you had already been a subscriber at some point in the past. And then I found this crazy offer on Best Buy. Do you remember me talking about this, Louis?
I do.
Yep. And so I was like, shoot, I will give this a try. Now, unfortunately, I think this only works if you're in the US, whereas the Will Smith thing might be global. I'm not sure. But if you're in the US, just go to bestbuy.com and search Apple TV Plus with a plus sign, and it should come right up. Let's see here. Apple TV Plus. Let's just see if this works. It's a very top result. So you can see Apple TV Plus for 3 months, new or returning subscribers only, and it's free. So you just add it to your cart, and then you check out. It costs you nothing, and then they will send you a code that you can use for Apple TV Plus. Now, this is not exactly news for those of you who listen to this show because I talked about this before, but what is new and what I didn't know would work was if it would work again. So my Apple TV Plus subscription ran out, and so I went to Best Buy. I ordered myself a new code. Returning, right? So I let my subscription lapse, because they were about to charge me. And actually, this is an important tip. You got to make sure you go in and turn off auto renewal, because when you use this code, you're basically giving Apple permission to start charging you after you've used this code, which is what they want, right? They want you to forget about it and forget about that subscription, right?
And that's why you need Rocket Money.
That's why you need Rocket Money to make sure that you don't forget about these subscriptions. And so I set a calendar alarm to go cancel it.
Come on, really? Did you use she who shall not be named?
He who shall not be named. What?
Really?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Louis.
Come on now. You set a calendar reminder?
Yeah.
How'd you do it? Did you talk to your phone?
Oh, no. No, because I actually wanted to be reminded, Louis.
Oh.
I did not use,
picky,
hey, you know who.
Picky.
So I went in and I canceled my renewal, which you can do, I think, actually anytime after you use this code, so it doesn't automatically start charging you. And then once my subscription had ended, I ordered myself a new code. It sent me another one, and then I went and used it, and bing, bong, boom.
And you didn't have to buy a refrigerator.
No, you don't have to buy a single thing.
And it's free shipping.
They just email it to you. I don't know how long the codes are good for, because I just went in and ordered another one to see if I could get another one, and it said everything worked, so I'm presuming that everything's fine, and I'll just use the code again once my subscription is expired. So
one of these days you're gonna get a knock on your door. It'll be Tim Cook.
Now I'm just curious. I mean, I haven't even watched Apple TV Plus in like a month. Once I finished Severance, I pretty much stopped watching it. So, but now I'm just curious. It's like, how long can I keep this going? Can I just keep this going forever? Eventually, they're gonna, especially if Best Buy knows there's a huge surge in these things being redeemed, as they probably will tonight and tomorrow once this episode releases. They might be like, "What's going on here?" And they might start looking into it. Although, how would they actually ever figure it out? Especially if people are just going to Best Buy, in their browsers. But so they may end up canceling this at some point. But for now, I'm on my second 3 months trial. I've already ordered my new code, and I'm like, shoot, if you'll just keep giving it to me for free, because Apple's raising their price. They're raising it from $4.99 to $6.99. I don't know if Apple TV Plus is worth it to me for $7.99 or $6.99, but it's certainly worth it to me for free. So I'm going to just see how long I can keep this thing going.
They just keep adding vintage movies that are in there for a limited time, and I still think that's a great strategy.
Oh, really? What have they added recently? Because I haven't been in there in a little while.
We talked about last week. I think they had some spy films. So I don't know if they've added anything this particular week. But what they have now is like Bourne Ultimatum.
Oh, cool.
Bourne Legacy.
Oh, they got the Bournes.
Van Wilder. Anchorman.
Oh, they got Anchorman for free too. Oh man,
Mission
seen that in
Impossible
forever.
3, Mission Impossible 2, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, Argo. They got a bunch of, I think this is all related to the second season of Slow Horses, which is, as I was saying, pretty good show.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is the same trick apparently also works with iCloud Plus. So
Really?
yeah, I mean they have a free iCloud Plus for up to 3 months, new or returning subscribers only.
That is peculiar to me. I mean, I can understand it with Apple TV Plus because, to be honest, I think they are still desperate for eyeballs, and I think they want,
too.
the more people they have watching it, the more people they have talking about shows, the more people they can sell advertisements to, which is rumored to be in the works. So they want to hit a big number. They want to be able to tell potential advertisers and even movie creators and TV show creators, because I mean, people don't want to make a TV show that nobody can watch. I mean, look at Will Smith. A bunch of people saying they can't see Emancipation, so here's 2 free months. Okay, well, Apple wants people to. I don't think Apple necessarily wants a whole bunch of people using iCloud Plus for free.
I don't think so. Of course, this is the lowest price plan, I think. Although maybe they let you choose which plan you get. They actually might let you choose like your storage bundle, 99 cents.
Boy, if you could get that for
$4 a month.
Gee whiz.
Because it says 3 months free for new or 2 months for okay, got it, or 2 months for returning subscribers. Plan auto renews for 99 cents a month after the trial's canceled. Okay, never mind. Only valid 1 redemption per customer. Okay, so for this one, I guess you only get 1 redemption. But does it say that for the other?
Unless it doesn't work. unless their system doesn't work.
Yeah, let's see here. I don't think that it. Okay, so maybe the iCloud Plus one is different, because the one for Apple TV Plus doesn't say only 1 per customer. So apparently that's only for the Apple or for the iCloud Plus trial. But for this one, I mean, clearly it's it's not just 1 per customer, because I've been a customer twice now.
Wow.
So it's still working for me. So if you want to get caught up on some Apple TV Plus shows, this is a great way to do it. And then let's just see how long this works for. I'll give you guys an update in March when my new trial is up, and I'll try to see if I can get this going again. I bet you my new code will work. I think eventually Best Buy is going to get rid of this offer so that people can't just keep using it. Or maybe Apple will just change it so you can only do it once per Apple account.
Geez, you can get on there, you can watch A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to watch that one.
I always loved that scraggly little tree. I kind of relate to that thing.
This is turning into like Apple TV Plus is turning into like Tim Cook's TMC. It's like all the classic movies and shows that he loved growing up with. It's like those are the ones that end up in Apple TV Plus. It's like all the Charlie Brown stuff. Like, who watches Charlie Brown anymore? Who watches Snoopy?
Kids.
I don't think kids do, man. I have kids.
Maybe you should get them to watch it.
I don't know if maybe they would. It's
I like watching those
wholesome American entertainment. I don't know. Maybe
vintage Peanuts shows I still like watching those ones.
I don't know if I ever did. They actually have a show? I don't think I ever saw the shows. I think I just saw like the holiday specials and stuff.
Well, that's what they were. I mean, I don't think there was. Yeah, it was the holiday specials. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That Charlie Brown Christmas is from 1964.
Hey, there's some good stuff from 1964.
I'm just saying.
There's some great shows from 1964. It was Dick Van Dyke's birthday earlier this week. He's 97. I think he was acting in 1964.
Well, I mean, don't you find it frustrating, like when, let's just say it's like Halloween and you're like, oh, yeah, I'd really like to watch, Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever. And somehow all of the sort of subscription services, like, it's not on any of them right around Halloween.
Yeah.
And now suddenly you got to pay like $20 to buy it or $5 to stream it. I hate that about this whole.
I never noticed that.
Everything.
That's funny. That is true. Like they pull them off all the streaming platforms to drive sales. Yeah.
It's annoying, and it's the same thing with like the Charlie Brown Christmas, right? It used to always be on TV every year, right, for free. Everybody could watch it. And now it's like, oh, if you want to watch it, you have to subscribe to Apple TV Plus. Or I
That's
mean,
one of the
you could
reasons why
probably
I
buy
like
it.
I like Disney Plus is because they own all their stuff, so all their stuff is just always there. Unlike a lot of the other platforms like Netflix or so HBO has had all of the Hobbits, the movies, and
hmm
all of the Lord of the Rings. And I was thinking about buying the whole set on iTunes over Black Friday because they always run great deals on them. But I was like, yeah, because I wanted to have them in 4K, and they're only available in HD on HBO Max. And I was like, I'm like, I don't really think I need to spend the money to buy these episodes just so I can get 4K. They're always available on HBO Max. So the sale ends. I go to HBO Max to watch The Hobbit with my wife. It's gone. I'm like, oh, dude, I thought this was here forever. If I had known, I would have just bought it. I should have just bought it. There's some movies that you got to just own because you know you're going to watch them over and over and over again. And Lord of the Rings are in that class. I don't know if the Hobbit movies are, but I do like them. They're not nearly as good as the Lord of the Rings movies are, obviously, but they're fun to watch. But yeah, now they're gone. And the Die Hard movie is the same. Like those things, they're always pulling those things off streaming. And then Apple wants you to spend. It's like the Indiana Jones movies. They want you to spend like $40 to $50 because you get 4 movies for Indiana Jones. But it's like, yeah, but only 3 of those movies does anyone actually want to watch. Same with Die Hard. They want you to buy like the whole series for I forget what the price was, like $45. But I'm like, have you watched all 5 Die Hards? There's only 2.5 of them that are really worth watching. Like the one was with Samuel L. Jackson was terrible. The one they did after Justin Long, I think that one was really bad. Die Hard 1, fantastic. Die Hard 2, terrific. And then the one with Justin Long. Those are the only Die Hards worth watching, in my humble opinion. All right, Lewis.
I'm glad we narrowed that down.
I could keep this going all day, but you know what? We're going like, we've been recording for 2 hours now, which means the episode's probably an hour and a half. That's all the Cultcast that I think that we should churn out this week. We got to save some for next week, and I guess we will be back next week. Thanks to Lewis, he made the call. But if you need your fix, if you want to come tell us about your favorite movies or something that we should feature in Best of the Year, make sure you head on over to Twitter, where I'll have my shiny new blue badge on. I'm at Erfon, ERFON. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. This has been the Cultcast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the Cultcast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening, for hanging out live. Appreciate you all, and we'll see you guys next time. Is that too loud, Lewis?
I love it.
I see you rocking out over there. You're really
like a good
getting into
bass line.
You're really getting into it too. You don't normally get this much into the jam, but you're feeling the flow.
Might be a little louder than usual.
I really decided to crank it up this time. Send us out in style. All right, everyone. Hey, before you go, don't forget to give that like button a little tickle. A little tickle. Give it a little tickle. Not too much. It's got to be the right amount. If we get enough likes, we can siphon off some of the talk show listeners, and Lord knows they need some entertainment. Am I right, Lewis? They're desperate.
Relentless.
Please save me. There's got to be more than this to life. All right, all. I'm hovering towards the end stream button as we speak. Have a great weekend. Bye, y'all.